Hey guys, okay, so now we'll be taking a look at the container widget. Okay, so the reason why I'm teaching you containers before rows or columns is because container widgets are like really helpful widgets. Okay, it has a lot of attributes and we can do a lot of things with these containers. Okay, these containers are also wrapper widgets. Okay, so these containers can actually be wrapped around like an image or a text. Okay, and we can also provide a shape to it. Okay, so it'll look a lot more appealing, and we'll see what the container actually does in a minute. So yeah, let's just start off right now. Okay, so by default the container has no attributes set to it. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look. Okay, so let's just provide a child attribute to it, and let's just pass in a text. Okay, and the text should say something like hello. Okay, so now that you can see that hello is actually wrapped inside a container widget. Okay, it so looks similar to the basic text widget, but now that it is wrapped inside a container widget, we can see the other properties or the benefits of using a container widget. Okay, so let's just pass in something like a color. Okay, so let's pass in a blue color. Okay, and let's just save that. Okay, now that you can see, our text is completely wrapped with a blue color. Okay, so by default the container wraps into whatever widget is inside of it. Okay, so in case you provide a color to it, it takes the shape of the inner widget, the child widget. Okay, now let's just set a height and a width property. Okay, so let's just give the container a shape and let's see what happens now. Okay, now that you can see, our container is a lot larger. Okay, let's just wrap the container with something called as a center widget. Okay, so that we can get the container in the center. Okay, fine. Now the container also has something called as an alignment property. So whatever widget is inside the container can align itself. Okay, so we can pass in the alignment property, and if you click on the dot, you'll see where all you wanna wrap these, align these widgets. So let's just try bottom right and let's see. So now that we can see our text is aligned to the bottom right. So I'll keep that to the center for now. Okay, and let's just say that. We also have something called as a decoration. Okay, inside the decoration, you can actually do a lot of customization to our container. Okay, so inside the decoration, we pass in something called as box decoration. Okay, and inside the box decoration, let's take a look at the first property. Okay, so we can see we have a color property inside the box decoration as well. Okay, let's pass in a different color this time to see what happens. Okay, now we can see our app runs into an error. So this is because outside of the box decoration we have already given a color to it, and we're giving that same color attribute inside the box decoration. So this is one thing to keep in mind. Okay, you can only provide the color attribute once inside a container. So it can either be inside the decoration part or it can be inside the container itself. So let's just take off that color inside the container and let's just run the app. Okay, now that we can see our color is saved. Okay, we got a green color here. Okay. We can also give in something like a box shadow. Okay, so box shadow is nothing but giving a shadow to a container. Okay, so the box shadow takes in, okay, yeah, the box shadow takes in a list. So let's pass in the box shadow widget inside the list, and inside the box shadow we can again give a color to the shadow. So let's pass in the colors again. Okay, let's give the colors dot black. Let's give it a blur radius of 10 and something called as a spread radius of 5. Let's just save that and you'll see our box actually looks like a box, right? Isn't it cool? Okay. Now we have another property inside the decoration. So let's just get rid of this box shadow for now. And okay, let's look at the other properties. So we have something called as a border, and we can provide border to our container. So let's pass in border.all, and inside the border.all we can give in a width. So that is the thickness of the border itself. So let's give it a 5, and we can also give the border a color. So let's make it a little visible. So let's just give the color uh, okay, let's give it a red color. Okay, now that we can see, our green container has a red border. Okay, we can also give it something like a radius. So let's just get rid of all this and check out. Okay, so before that, let me just show you something we can do inside the box decoration. So we can pass in something called a gradient. Okay, okay, we can pass in something called as a gradient, and we can give it a gradient finish. So the gradient also takes in something uh, called as a color, and that color can be of a list. Okay, so we need to pass in more than one color to give it a gradient effect. So let me just give it a red accent, and the second color could be okay, purple. Now let's just save that. Now that you can see, our container has a gradient finish. Okay, so let's just make this text a little bit bigger. So let's pass in a style property, and okay, let's give it a font weight, and let's set it to bold. Okay, that seems to make no difference. So let's give it a 30. Okay, yes, now that is how our container looks. I think we also missed out one important property, and that is the border radius. Okay, so we can give it a border radius. Okay, so inside the border radius, we can give it something called as border radius dot all. Okay, now we can pass in radius dot circular. Okay, to give it a round effect, and let's set it as 25. Now that we can see, our box looks a lot more eye-catchy, right? So I hope you guys like the video, and if you do like the video, please do consider subscribing. Stay safe and have an amazing day. See you in the next video.